Welcome to Bible Story Time, and thank you for joining us. Our last story ended in fire and tears, with the people of God dragged away from their homeland, their temple destroyed, their hope in ruins. Today we witness the story that comes after the ashes. It is a story of a promise kept across generations, and how the God of history can turn the heart of an empire to set his people free. This is the story of the return from exile. 70 years. For 70 long years, the people of Judah had lived in Babylon. A full generation had been born and had died in a foreign land. Jerusalem was a distant memory, a painful story told by grandparents. The glorious promises to David and Abraham felt like a whisper from another world. The people were exiles, their identity shattered, their future uncertain. They had been punished for their unfaithfulness, and the silence from God had been deafening. But God had not forgotten. He had made a promise through the prophet Jeremiah that after 70 years he would bring them back. And empires rise and fall, but the word of the Lord stands forever. The mighty Babylonian Empire had been conquered. A new power now ruled the known world, Persia, and its king was a man named Cyrus. He was a brilliant military strategist and a wise ruler, but he did not know the God of Israel. Yet God knows every king. In the first year of his reign, the Lord fulfilled the word spoken by Jeremiah. The Bible says that God stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, a divine impulse, a thought planted in the mind of the most powerful man on earth. And so King Cyrus made a proclamation and sent it throughout his entire kingdom. Imagine the shock as the heralds read the decree aloud in the streets where the exiles lived. Imagine the hope that flickered to life for the first time in decades. The proclamation read, "Thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord, the God of heaven, has given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he has appointed me to build him a house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Whoever is among you of all his people, may his God be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem and rebuild the house of the Lord." It was unbelievable. A pagan king, acknowledging the God of Israel, was not only giving them permission to go home, he was commissioning them to rebuild the temple. He was funding the very project that would restore their national and spiritual heart. The decree went even further. Cyrus commanded the people who chose to stay behind to help those who were returning. They were to give them silver and gold, goods and livestock, and offerings for the temple. What had begun as a forced march of grief was now becoming a joyful, community-supported pilgrimage of hope. But Cyrus did one more thing, something profoundly symbolic. He ordered the temple treasures to be brought out. These were the sacred gold and silver articles, thousands of them, that Nebuchadnezzar had stolen from Solomon's temple all those years ago. They had been sitting in a pagan temple, trophies of a forgotten war. Cyrus counted them out and entrusted them to a leader of Judah. The very symbols of their humiliating defeat were now being returned as the seeds of their glorious restoration. And so the leaders of Judah, the priests, and the Levites, everyone whose heart God had stirred, prepared to go. The long night of exile was over. The road home was open. This is not just a story about a political decision. It is the story of God's absolute faithfulness. It is a story of how our darkest chapters are never the final word when we belong to Him. God didn't just open a door, He reversed a tragedy. He didn't just release His people, He restored their purpose and their dignity. He proved that He is sovereign over all nations and all kings, using even a foreign ruler to fulfill His sacred promises. Today, we can all find ourselves in seasons of exile, times when we feel far from God, disconnected from our purpose, living in a land that doesn't feel like home. We can feel like our past failures have disqualified us forever. But the message of Ezra is that no exile is permanent for the people of God. His timing is perfect, and His power is not limited by our circumstances. He can stir the heart of anyone, a boss, a friend, even an enemy, to create a way forward for us. He doesn't just call us out of our brokenness. He hands back the treasures we thought were lost forever and commissions us to rebuild. So if you are in a season of waiting, hold on to hope. Remember the 70 years. God has not forgotten you. The road home is being prepared. Your story is not over.
Thank you for watching Bible Story Time.
If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. these ancient stories still breathe life, because the same God who stirred the heart of a king can still make a way home for the exiled heart.